Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Let me be clear, this video is not predicting that Democrats will lose control of the Senate and/or the House in next year's midterm elections. But I am about to argue that if Democrats lose one or both chambers, they will look back on some of their decisions and actions in these first few months of this administration and Congress with a great deal of regret. There is already an established pattern of parties convincing themselves they have a political mandate when in fact they do not, and Joe Biden's Democrats seem to be keeping to it. Indeed, if there was a mandate, it was for a president who would talk and act differently from President Trump, but not for much else. And after expectations of strong gains in the House and Senate last year, the Democratic Party just barely held on to their House majority and won the Senate by the narrowest possible margin. In fact, it appears that a narrow but, in retrospect, critical slice of voters who look to be headed in an anti-Republican direction got cold feet amid charges that Democrats were pushing what Trump labeled a socialist agenda, specifically that they wanted to defund the police, abolish ICE, and impose single-payer health insurance. Never mind that Joe Biden and most mainstream Democrats embraced none of these views. Nevertheless, it seemed to be enough of a concern that more than a few voters peeled off and stuck with the GOP. As this channel has repeatedly argued, the decision to push this relief package through on a party line vote via the budget reconciliation process seemed a bit inconsistent with the soaring bipartisan rhetoric of Biden's inaugural address. Despite the bitter and avoidable partisanship, Biden's coronavirus package will loom large next year. Today, the package is extremely popular with approval ratings of between 60 and 70%. That being said, of course, giving voters money and other benefits will always be popular. But remember that the 2017 tax cuts authorized by Trump and the Republicans were not a big hit at the time with voters, who eventually gave the Democrats control of the House in the following 2018 midterm election. But with almost 600 days until Election Day 2022, it still remains to be seen which party will do a better job of framing the choices around the American Rescue Act, and ultimately what its economic impact will be. To the extent that the ARA is widely perceived as an effective response to the pandemic stimulating the economy, it will remain a plus. But if it is seen as simply a big spending program or worse, overheats the economy and causes significant rise in inflation, that would be a big problem for Democrats. However, let's go back to the midterm elections. While there are independents who vote in every general election, the proportion of independents voting in midterms is lower than in presidential election years. Midterms are typically a contest over which side's base is more motivated, or to put it another way, which party has more drop-off from the presidential election 2 years prior. Unique to 2022, though, is that the preceding midterm and presidential elections had record high voter participation. 2018 featured the highest midterm turnout since 1914, and 2020 had the largest presidential turnout since 1900. Of course, the trigger for both record turnouts was the incumbent president. Both Trump lovers and Trump haters came out of the woodwork, raising an interesting question of which of those two groups is more likely to drop off in 2022 when he is no longer the sitting president. So ultimately, whether or not Democratic Trump-hating voters drop off, Republicans are certainly getting more than enough ammunition to rile up their base off the back of these big spending plans. Remember that hate and fear are the two strongest motivating factors in politics, far more than love or appreciation. In fact, midterm election voters are much more likely to punish a president or majority party over disagreements than to reward a job well done. That is all for today's video, though. I hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to follow EP Official on all social media shown on screen and linked in the description down below. Also, make sure to comment your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, and please hit the like button if you liked the video as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out more content from my channel here, and as always, tune in next time. EP out.